Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Here let's look at this problem, nested list with sum. This is a very interesting problem. So here our plan will be the following. First, solve the problem using the interface provided in the problem statement. And then I'm going to solve the problem using nested list. Nested Python list as input. I guess especially the second one will help you digest the problem much better. So with that said, let me first read through the problem statement. So basically here we are given a nested list of integers, so called nested list. So notice that this is an object in this interface or in this class. Right. So each element is either an integer or a list whose elements may also be integers or other list. In other words, nested. So the depth of an integer is the number of lists that is inside of it. You can look at the example 1 and example 2. They have some colored illustrations. So we want to return the sum of each integer in the nested list multiplied by its depth. For example, example 1. So this is depth 2, and the red are depth 2, and the blue are depth 1. So you multiply them and sum, you get 10. So example 2, so you have 1 and 4 and 6, and then the depths are 1, 2, 3 respectively. Then you multiply them, you get 27. So that's basically the problem statement. Actually, these two examples are still not representative enough. So here, let me give you one. So I'm going to use this one. Right, you see here you have 6. 6 is level 3. You can add another one, say 5, but 4, 5 will be at level 2, right? You can think of this example. So now let's look at the constraints. First, the length is bounded above by 20, but due to the nested nature, still can be large. So the value in this range as depth is bounded above by 50. So with that said, I guess we are ready to do the coding. So the difficulty point for this problem is that you need to use this interface. For example, you have isInteger function and get set integer, get integer, or get list. So what we are using actually is check integer or get the integer and also get the list, not using all of them. So with that said, our method will be graph traversal. You regard it initially as a graph, and then you go into deeper separately. For this one, you go deeper, and for this one, you just submit a number, right? For this one, you go deeper. So similar here, you match in integer, and then you know the level. You add the multiplication result to the result, and then you go to deeper and increment the level, and then if you meet a integer, you should update the result variable, and afterwards when you finish the traversal, you get the full result. Now let me first do some abstract thing, in other words, coding using the interface, and then I'm going to solve this problem using nested Python list as input and using those 3 examples. So first, I want to use breadth-first based traversal. Here I have a queue. I can do collections deck. So what we want to do is to add all the element 1 for element in nested list, right? So this will be the first the initial level, right? So here I'm using level 1. In other words, if your element is a number, I just multiply this level with that integer value, right? So now nested list. So let's see. What we want to do next will be have a total. Will be 0, and then basic while loop, while queue. And then we get the current element. We get steps. That will be queue I'm going to use pop left. And then if current element is integer, right? So let's see, is integer. So if it's an integer, then I'm going to increment the total by the depth multiply by current element get integer, right? Notice that in integer get integer, you need to call this function because this is an object of this is nested integer, right? This is the one. Otherwise, what we do is it will be we can do list comprehension or for a for loop for nested element in current element get list, right? So here we are calling this method get list. Then what's in this one, because it's one level deeper than the current depth. So what we are going to do is append. So we are going to append nested element. Notice that nested element still can be element form, right? So then depth +1, right? And then we can return the total. So this would be the full code for this problem. So let me first run it. Yeah, it passes the 3 test cases. Now let's look at the generic case. Yeah, it passes all the cases actually very fast. I guess at this point, you're still not very clear about what we do. But now let me do it in the second one. We solve the problem using nested Python list as an example. So here I'm going to copy this 2 lines and then change this one to be just another name. So what we do actually is we write a inner function by way of this the input, and then we test the 3 examples. What I want to do is this. So I write a depth sum function, right? So I want to give an array. So this array will be a nested list. And then what we do, actually we do the exact same thing, but we adapt it to the plain input as we are familiar with. So here we have a result variable to be 0. And then we have a queue of the collections deck. So here what I'm going to do is this. So I'll put the whole array inside and make it first level 0, right? Because I know when you input this is for sure a list. So I just set it at the starting point, or you can think of a graph as the root level. And that's the 0 to be distinguished with the 1 here, right? Because here I use the list comprehension, but because it's I don't want to put it to call this get list method, so I write like this. So now you have this. What we do is you can do val queue. Then basically we get the object, right? So in general, its object here will be either integer or list, but above it can be either a nested integer or a list format. So object and level, right? So queue pop left. And then what you do, so you do a check is instance. If the object is an integer or not. So if it were a integer, so what we do, we result increment, notice this level by object. Notice that it's not level increment by 1, because originally you should have 0. You multiply the whole thing by 0. And then if you see, let me make a note, it's a level multiplied by object, not level +1 by times object. Why? Because of the else block. Because if it was a list, then we are going to iterate for sub-object, right? Go into a deeper level in object. So what we do is queue append. So it's a sub-object and then level +1, right? So then finally we just need to return the result. The reason why here is if you have something like this, let's see, you have something like 1, so you should return 1, right? But when we input like something like this. This is the 1 and this is 0, right? First you are going to match this guy by this guy, but this one is a list, so we need to still put in queue this 1 and 0 plus 1. Then you get this is 1 1, right? Then you call this is the current level, this is the 1. The level will be 1 times 1 is 1. That's the right one. Therefore, we should do level by object. So this will be the hyperfunction. But if you do this, you do run, for sure you cannot pass the test, because here the testing are different. But now let me do a test. So here we have this one. So let's call it array1. Just array will be enough. And then we call this, we print out this guy, right? This is the 1, and then let me copy twice of this print and then update the array. Right. So here I can use this. This is example 1. Now let's test example 2. And also let's test this one. Let me just print and write it. Right. So we know the result, right? It's 10, 27, and 0. So now let's test it. You got a 10, 27, and 0. Our implementation is right? So I guess for this problem, this official solution here, not official, this solution to the problem itself here is very short and also slightly abstract to digest for some people. And here we do another digest, right? So we write a hyperfunction to work on plain list, nested list. So you see the logic. So essentially this one is a specific format, and this one is with a little bit abstraction, but sometimes abstraction is good for coding. So with that said, I guess that's it for the current video. Thank you for watching.